Hello, gorgeous. I'm Gia. I have a huge announcement for those of you who have been following me. I'm going to finishing school. Specifically, it's the British School of Excellence. I'm so excited because it's the world standard of education and all things etiquette, soft skills, and emotional intelligence. Soft skills will get you really far when it comes to communications, work ethic, and so many other things. Just in the workplace and like international relations and intercultural understanding. So I'm going to learn everything about dining, social etiquette, kids etiquette, and can't wait to use it in real life. I'm actually getting certified to be able to teach it if I wanted to, but I'm going to just use the skills for myself mostly. But I honestly can't wait to have kids and share this all with them and whip them into shape. But everyone is at the top of their game. For example, a bunch of PhDs are going to be there, leaders of huge organizations, and a bunch of just high ups in general, high powered people. And then there's like little old me who kind of did things on a small scale on my own terms, but I feel so privileged to finally take this opportunity. This has been my dream for a very long time and has finally come true. I honestly thought I was going to do this when I was in my 30s in London or Switzerland, but I can do it from the comfort of my own home because of the panorama banana. Now I can really teach my feminine classes and guide you gorgeous ladies with better etiquette and personal branding. That's my passion, to be infallible in that sense. And I was making this course, you can check it out linked below, and was pouring my heart and soul into it, knowing who I'm talking to. So I'm going to be certified after this course in ILM and CPD training. CPD, it's a big deal, especially in Britain. My husband even has ILM training from being in the Royal Air Force, and I feel like I've cracked the code to life because of this, and I've just like leveled up, unlocking level 100, and then I'm on my way to level 1000 after this because I'm going to know so much. I'm so excited. I can feel it in my blood how fun and what an incredible learning experience this will be, and then also how I'm going to use this afterward to help others, specifically lovely ladies like you, and help open up your mindset with this. I cannot express how much my heart is bursting with excitement. I screamed a few times running around the house. My loved ones are laughing at me. This is such a huge deal, so you do not know how much I have been jumping up and down, and I'm containing myself for this video and like dancing nonstop. So that's enough excitement for today. I have to wake up at 1:30 a.m. because it's standard British time, like 9 in the morning, and then it's for 5 days in a row. So I have to make sure I'm awake British Standard Time. I will be dressed up appropriately, make sure my office in the background is neat and clean, like the way it is somewhat here now, and show up to my 6-hour classes. I'm gonna vlog what the schedule will be like and how intense I will be feeling the whole experience. I'm obviously not gonna tape the classes or anything, but out of respect, this is gonna make my course even better, my coaching even better, who I am just as a person, individual, standalone, more disciplined, and we learn how to teach, so it's super cool. All ages, all backgrounds. I have been cursing so much lately, just like to get it out of my system so that I will never curse again after this finishing school. So I just want to let you know that etiquette, like learning etiquette, is not about being like learning how to have tea with royals or learning how to act like a noble woman. It's about compassion, it's about hygiene and even social hygiene, and it's about consideration and kind of like being a little 10 steps ahead about what people are feeling and how to make them feel at ease in a short amount of time, which I think is a really good way to explain it. So making people feel comfortable and making people feel like they can open up and be disarmed. I think that's a really lost art these days, where people will just walk into your house with their shoes on and like sit on your bed, and they'll have like, I don't know, like outside clothes on the bed, and I'm like, wait, back it up. So a lot of people are just like, I've seen people do horrible things. I was at the airport recently on my way to Arizona, and there was a woman with 2 children in her lap, 2 like less than 5-year-old, one on each lap, a boy and a girl, and I was sitting across them, and we were making funny faces at each other, and they were really cute. And her luggage had like 4 bags on it, and it toppled over. There's a guy sitting next to me who was sat closer than her, didn't get up, didn't do anything. There's a guy who was standing next to her, walked over the luggage, and I got up and I picked it up like an adult, like a human being, because I don't understand why human beings don't treat each other well. It's so easy to stand out with kindness today, and it breaks my heart, really, that people don't just like have the proclivity to reach out. And it doesn't take a lot of energy, it costs nothing, and you get further in life, I think, when you are kind and lead with kindness and lead as an example. And the thing was, nobody cared, nobody batted an eyelash, nobody helped her. And I do not want to be that woman one day who has 2 kids on her lap and nobody helps me when my luggage topples over. I would be mortified. And I can't even fathom the idea that exists. So I think it's important that people go to finishing school all over again. So finishing school originally was, there's different types of finishing school. So for women, they would go into society after finishing school, so it prepared them for the world, how to have secretarial skills, or how to dine properly so they don't make a fool of themselves or look silly or make things awkward. It's about it's about really getting your point across with being as dainty and like loving and delicate and elegant as possible, and just having a heart. My husband's grandmother went to finishing school, and she is one of the most hilarious people I know. You can be elegant and have a personality. She is probably the hands down funniest person I know. She's she doesn't care. She's like, do whatever you want to do. You don't have to go to finishing school. You don't have to do this the proper way. Do it the way that you like to. And that's like something that I really love about her. She's like still true to herself. And that's not what finishing school is about. If you want to like learn how to eat or have tea with nobles, there's a book for that. Go get Debrett's. So for finishing school for guys, usually it can look like the army. It can look like a certain job a profession that they get into. So like my husband taught me all of these rules in menswear and men's clothing that he learned at the Royal Air Force and working in the British Air Force. And there are so many things that I didn't know that my dad would have appreciated, because growing up he loved suits. He had a bunch of suits, and every man should own at least one good suit, I think. And you don't have to have a tux. But because not everybody, there's not a lot of reason to have a tux today unless you're a farmer and it's after 6 p.m. But I'm just kidding. That's a joke from 30 Rock. But you don't have to have a tux, but just one good suit. You don't have to have a plethora or collection of them. But he taught me all these rules about, like, I remember someone said to me, there's no rules to wearing a belt. And I said, actually there is. There's a way to cinch it in properly, a way to look appropriate when you wear one, so that it doesn't like ride up, so that your shirt stays in place. And it baffled me that people don't know that there are rules to such things. You don't think that people have been around long enough to explain certain things. And that's also what I like about finishing schools. They explain a lot of the reasons for why we have certain etiquette. So my husband explained to me that it depends on what like branch of the military you're in. So in the Navy, you never let like the bottle of port escape the table. So it always has to touch the table. So if you pour it, you reach down and reach over like this, or over the glass, where in the Air Force, it can never touch the table. And there's like different rules. The Navy never stands up when the king is there or when there's royalty, because King George came onto the ship one time and it's so cramped that people are like this, that they're like hunched over, and they're like, and he said, this is ridiculous, just sit when I walk in the Navy into the mess hall. And there's so many rules for that. And one of my favorite rules is etiquette, like the history of it. So did I say etiquette? It is for your shoulders on the table. So the reason that you shouldn't have your shoulders on the table, I'm pretty sure there's going to be another version in finishing school or rendition of this, but my husband told me that in it's also a military story, because that's finishing school for guys. Back in the day, there's a hair in my face, is the reason that we have our elbows on the table, that we don't have it, is because a long time ago you would get shanghaied, in Britain specifically, because a lot of the rules are made by Britain, and it's like the world standard. Even in continental rules, British influence is like kind of like the golden standard for etiquette. And so for those of you who don't know, being Shanghai literally means being shipped to Shanghai. So the sailors would eat their dinner like this on the boat so that their plate doesn't slide around, and they would eat like this. And if you go to the pub and you're on land, they would see that you're eating like this because you're so used to it, and they would hit you on the back of the head with a 2x4 and take you onto the ship, and you'd wake up in the middle of the ocean on a ship, and they'd say, "Welcome to the British Navy." So that's one of my favorite stories that's really misunderstood about like etiquette and why we do things. And some things are just so locked into tradition, while other things are very practical. And I think a lot of them are practical, like don't have your fork touching here because it's just bacteria infested, especially after it's used, or specifically after it's used. There's a lot of things that say like be kind to others because it's uncomfortable if you do this. So it's not about being snooty, hoity-toity. I keep saying so I'll keep you updated, so subscribe. I'll have a bunch of more tips. And also, don't do this when you have tea. There's a bunch of reasons why you do this. But if you do this and you're trying to be posh while you have tea, it's actually not posh, because posh people know that you don't do this. The reason was because when you hold tea, there were no mugs, there were no handles. So, and also, there's so many things I have to add to this, so like to all the different theories. So tea was brought from Asia, specifically from China, and the mugs they had were small and didn't have handles. And so if you go to England, the tea handles are really tiny. The teacups are always shaped like this. Coffee goes down straight. So if you like a cylinder, so teacups are always small. And the reason they would have their pinky out was they would actually hold the teacup like this with no handle and have this for balance, which makes a lot of sense because I do this and I can feel myself having the pressure on here and like dropping a cup. Where if you have this, it feels a bit a little like stiff at first, but then when you drink it like this, it makes more sense like to have balance. So that's why they had their pinkies out. So don't have your pinky out, tuck it in, and you can do this because the tea will be so small. Anyway, that's just me getting into detail, but I find it fascinating. I love history like this, so I love like origin stories. There's so many fashion origin stories that I have. I should probably make more videos on them, of why we have certain ways. I read so many books on this, so much history. Now I'm literally going to become a teacher of this, so it seems appropriate. Like I'll be certified by 2 different accredited organizations. I'm really excited. So subscribe to stay updated. Sign up now for glow up tips linked below, and check out my coaching platform for more. I have so much coming out. I have so much news. I'm sorry I've been kind of holding back on the outfit ideas because first off, I was traveling, and second, I'm making excuses for you of why I shouldn't be consistent. So I will have another fashion video coming out really soon. Next week will be my finishing school course, and I'm probably going to be on here with a ton of concealer underneath my eyes because I want to be presentable. But I'm going to show you like the real life of what I'm going through, and I'm not going to hide that from you because I think it's important that we stay consistent in self-betterment. And you know what? It's okay if you just show up and you don't have makeup on, girl. I appreciate you. I appreciate your natural beauty, even if you have bags. That's gorgeous. That's a sign of you working hard. And yeah, sure, get some rest, but I appreciate every level of you, what stage you are at, what stage you are in. That's not appropriate because it ends in a preposition. In your different stages. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you later.